Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we will discuss tenants' rights under Singapore law. Whether you're renting an HDB flat or private property, it is crucial to understand your rights and what you can do if issues arise with your landlord. First, when you rent a property in Singapore, you enter into a tenancy agreement with your landlord. This document outlines the terms and conditions of your tenancy, including the duration, the rent amount, and any specific rules that you need to follow. They are also called covenants. It is important to read this document carefully before signing it. Most people don't read it. In Singapore, so long as you pay your rent, you have the right to enjoy the property without unreasonable disturbances from your landlord or other parties. This is called the right to quiet enjoyment. Your landlord is also responsible for ensuring that the property is safe and in good condition. This includes fixing any damages or issues that may make the property uninhabitable, although it is common to have a clause in most tenancy agreements in Singapore which says something along the lines that any repairs below a certain amount, usually $150 or $200, any repairs below $200 shall be borne by the tenant. Anything above that shall be borne by the landlord. Also, the landlord cannot enter the property without giving reasonable notice, which is usually 24 hours, unless it is an emergency. Now let's address the common issue that a lot of tenants face, which is getting their rental deposit back. When you move into a rental property, you typically pay a security deposit, which is equivalent to 1 month or 2 months rent. This deposit is meant to cover any damage or unpaid rent when you move out of the place. However, there's a very strange phenomenon in Singapore of landlords not returning deposits and then trying to find defects or reasons why as justification. And usually these defects are non-existent, or the defects occurred before you moved into the property. That is why you should always take photos, and better still, take videos of the entire place, the toilet, the kitchen, the living room, the bedroom area. Take photos or videos when you collect the keys from the landlord. This will serve as evidence in the event that he makes allegations, in future that you damaged this, you damaged that. I personally took videos of this entire place when I moved into this office. If your landlord refuses to return your deposit, check the terms regarding the return of the deposit. Ensure that you have fulfilled all the conditions in the tenancy agreement. Ensure that you did not breach any of the clauses, and ensure that you did not cause any damage to the property and that you have made all outstanding payments. Next, reach out to your landlord to discuss why the deposit hasn't been returned. Sometimes a simple conversation can resolve misunderstandings. If the landlord still refuses to return your deposit, send a formal letter of demand. In your letter of demand, outline the situation. Okay, make reference to the tenancy agreement. Make specific reference to the clause in the tenancy agreement that states that the landlord will return your deposit when the tenancy expires. Okay, and then make a demand in the letter of demand for the landlord to return this deposit within a specified time frame. It could be 14 days, 30 days. If the landlord still refuses to return the deposit, you should file a claim with the Small Claims Tribunal if your security deposit does not exceed $20,000. This is a very cheap way of getting your deposit back without having to engage lawyers. If your landlord wrongfully withheld your security deposit, it is likely that the Small Claims Tribunal would make an order forcing your landlord to refund your deposit. But if the Small Claims Tribunal rules in favor of the landlord, that means the Small Claims Tribunal thinks that he has some reason or justification to retain the deposit, there are no grounds to appeal the decision except on a few technical legal issues. If your landlord has a track record of being dishonest in his dealings with previous tenants, you can always check with the neighbors or check with a housemate who happens to live in the house. If he has such a track record and you have reason to believe that he or she will not refund the deposit, no matter what condition the property is in when the tenancy ends, you may want to withhold the final month's rent payment. However, this would be a breach of the tenancy agreement and allow your landlord to reoccupy the premises or take legal action against you for non-payment of rent. In most tenancy agreements, it is quite common to see a clause that the deposit shall not under any circumstances be used to offset the rent. But if your landlord is a landlord from hell, I mean, you have to resort to, more extreme ways of dealing with him. There's one thing I can tell you about Singapore landlords from my experience as a lawyer and who has dealt with many tenancy disputes. There are a lot of crazy and greedy landlords in Singapore. So thank you for watching. See you in the next video.